That's the end of the second quarter, and as we go into halftime, it's 34-28. We're going to take a quick break for halftime, but before we go, let's take a quick look at some of the halftime stats and see how they stack up. We've reached halftime with the score 24-19. Down.
Nice
Cassell
position.
misses it from the top
it.
of the key. We've reached halftime with the score 28-30. Launches from beyond the arc. Drops in the buzzer beater. We've reached halftime with the score 25-23. Let's go studio side. Here's Clark's recap of the first half.
Welcome to the ESPN Halftime Update. Here's a quick breakdown of the numbers from the first half. The Wizards have been hitting the three ball with ease out there in the first half. Their outside shot is keeping them in this game, so I expect to see more of the same in the second half. Michael Jordan in the first half has a total of 11 points. That makes him our Sega Sports Hot at the Half player. That will do it for now. Make sure to tune in to the ESPN postgame show at the conclusion of the game. We'll send you back to Bob and Rod.
Beats the buzzer. Misses the three. We've reached halftime with the score 29-16. Now that we've got a little break in the action, why don't we take a look at the game track? Tommy?
Thank you, Fitz. The Bulls have had the better look so far, and you can see that in the field goal percentage difference. I like their chances in the second half if they can keep the offense rolling.
That wraps it up for Game Track. We'll get the storyline to you right at the end of the ball game. Roll and it goes in. We've reached halftime with the score. We've got a little break in the action. Why don't we take a look at the first half with our ESPN Game Track. Bill, take it away.
Andrei Kirilenko has been absolutely automatic from three-point range in the first half. He's got to be feeling very confident right now, and they do well to keep the ball in his hands as the game continues. Dirk Nowitzki has been carrying the other side, and they're only down by a little. If they can put together a few shots in a row here, they'll resume the lead in what should prove to be an exciting second half.
Thanks for the update, Bill. Let's get set to begin the third quarter.
It's stolen by Amari. That's his second takeaway of the contest. And that concludes the first half. The score, 32-27.
Well, we're seeing some nice execution on the offensive end. Both teams are in the zone.
Well, we have a bit of time here, Kenny. Let's break down the first half with our Power Bar Triple Threat Halftime Report.
Thanks, Kevin. The Wizards are out in front. Butler has been unstoppable offensively. He's looking very confident, has made the most of his touches. The Suns are struggling to stay close. Marion has been carrying the load for them. They're only a few shots back, so they're definitely still alive.
Thanks for the update, Kenny. Let's have a look at the team stats from the first half. The Wizards have been getting good looks at the bucket, as you can see from their field goal percentage. You gotta like their chances in the second half if they can keep clicking on offense. Let's send it over to Craig Sager for the Gatorade Around the Cooler update.
Well, guys, after the first half, I talked with Eddie Jordan, coach of the Wizards. He told me that he's really happy with the way they've been playing so far. He added that he wants his team to pick up the energy and told me that if they don't, this game could take a turn for the worse in a hurry. Should prove to be an interesting second half.
Thanks, Craig. We should be ready to get going in just a moment. Nene inbounds the ball. We've reached halftime with the score 26-19.
The Clippers have a decent lead here,
but not insurmountable. They'll need to keep it up. Okay, it's time for our 2K Sports halftime report. The Clippers have built their lead on a solid offensive effort.
Yeah, if they continue to score like this, it's hard to see them losing.
Well, everybody knows it wouldn't be halftime if we didn't have Kenny's stamp of approval. Take it away.
All right, first up, Miller has landed shot after shot and left the D in la-la land. Don't sleep, my man's unconscious. Second on the list, Camby hasn't scored a single point all game. I expect a lot more from him. He can't be happy about that goose egg either. We'll see if he does something about it. Coming up third, Brand is a cat I always expect good things from. Hate to say it, but so far, he's been a no-show. His teammates are waiting on him, but if he doesn't turn up soon, they may have to carry on without him.
Well, there you have it. Well, not your best approval rating, Kenny, but nothing wrong with a little constructive criticism. There's Kenny's stamp collection. All right, the second half should begin in just a moment. But it's regained by the Sonics. And that concludes the first half. The score, 20-19.
Well, a closely contested first half.
Yeah, if the game keeps up like this, it could be a nail-biter. Now it's time for our T-Mobile halftime report.
Stojakovic is scoring well. He's got 5. For Seattle, Wilcox has stood out with his rebound total at 3.
Now let's take a look at the team stats from the first half. The Hornets have been pounding the offensive boards.
Yeah, and they're racking up second-chance points. We'll see if they can stay after it in the second half.
Well, the second half will begin in just a few moments. Ilgauskas backs in. We've reached halftime with the score 28-18.
That's a pretty comfortable lead.
Yeah, but we've still got 2 quarters to play. Anything can happen. Now it's time for our T-Mobile halftime report. Josh Smith has done a great job of finding his teammates with his assist total at 5. Zydrunas Ilgauskas has stood out with his rebound total at 3. Now let's take a look at the team stats from the first half. The Hawks have been getting some good looks, as you can see from their field goal percentage.
Well, Kevin, you gotta like their chances if they can keep clicking on offense like this.
The tray misses the buzzer beater.
Well, that was a closely contested first half.
Yeah, if the game keeps up like this, it could be a nail-biter. The clock runs out and we're heading to halftime. The score, 18-17. Let's go to the T-Mobile halftime report. Well, let's check out the story of the stats. The Blazers have built a small lead in this hard-fought game.
Well, both teams are hungry for the win. It should make for a great second half.
Atan Thomas is off to a great start.
Well, there's no question about it. He started off well. You can see it in his eyes out there. He came ready to play.
Good if it goes, and that's not going to fall for him. And so we wrap up the first half.
Take a look at what Kobe's done. He's got 6 points, and he's chipped in defensively with a steal as well.
And we'll get back to the action right after this.
Halftime at Staples Center. In a close one, I'm Damon Bruce. Welcome to the HP Halftime Show. The Los Angeles Lakers in front against Chicago. The difference in free throw percentage completely in their favor, and that's been the key to their success. Lamar Odom getting it done through 2 quarters. He has 6 points, added 3 rebounds as well. And giving it their all, the Chicago Bulls. They've done all the little things, made all the hustle plays, and that's been the difference. Carlos Boozer playing with confidence. They're also seeing Derrick Rose put up some solid numbers in this one. These two have shined bright so far. They've led the way in scoring for their teams in today's action. Thanks for being with us. Now back to Los Angeles as the third quarter gets underway.
From deep, Richardson, no good on the buzzer beater. Knicks lead by 5.
Sunday, a great day for basketball if you ask me, so let's recap all the action here on HP at the half. Out in New York, the Knicks are ahead against the Magic. A huge advantage in points in the paint. They're having their way inside. They've gotten some great minutes out of Landry Fields. He's got 5 points and has set his teammates up with a few timely assists. And midway through, the Magic still alive. They've launched 3 after 3, but it looks more like a bricklayers convention. Jason Richardson hasn't made an impact so far. Dreadful from the field. He hasn't connected on any of his shots. That'll just about do it here at the HP Halftime Report. The rest of the game coming right up.
But this is a team on the rise.
And so that's the end of the first half. It's the Heat up by 15. We'll have the start of the third quarter for you shortly. But first, it's the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Sunday action is in full swing, so let's break down the first half for you. The Heat have the lead out in Miami against the 76ers. Just outstanding efficiency offensively. They're having a field day. It's just that simple. And LeBron having no problems as expected, scoring at will against the 76ers. The bucket looks about 5 feet wide for him. He hasn't missed one shot. Can you believe it? The 76ers on the other side of the coin, not looking as shiny. Their three-point shooting has been nowhere to be found. It's really hurt them offensively. That's why they're behind. Jason Richardson hasn't made an impact so far. Another ragged shooting game for him. He's had more than a few lately. And back to Miami we go. Thanks so much for being with us.
Easily. Too many of their points came the easy way, Steve. You're right. On dunks and layups against a defense that didn't really put up much resistance.
On the perimeter, the all-star trio of Williams, Johnson, and Pierce. Mirza Teletovic out there with Brook Lopez. So that's the lineup for Brooklyn. And that does it for the first half of play. Nets lead by 8. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Well, Joe, this Brooklyn team has evolved in so many ways the last couple of years. And this season, the addition of Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, how exciting is this for this basketball team?
It's a great feeling, man. We're a new franchise, new organization, and guys are very excited. Brooklyn's very excited about it, and we're just here, man, to try to make the fans happy.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys at the table.
Okay, Doris, thanks. And we'll have the start of the third quarter for you shortly, but first, the halftime show.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Monday has almost come to an end. Let's celebrate with a little halftime show. Brooklyn up on top against Indiana. Now they've got the third best record in their conference, looking to get stronger by the game. Everything's going right for Joe Johnson. All over the court against the Pacers D. The bucket looks about 5 feet wide for him. He hasn't missed one shot. Can you believe it? Let's start off with a look at what's on tap for later on tonight. For the Knicks, they'll be up against the Magic in Orlando. A 7 p.m. Eastern tip time is set. And another game that's coming up, over at AT&T Center, the Spurs will face off against the Raptors. That gets going 7:30 Eastern. And here's a look at the other NBA action from around the league. Out in Charlotte, it'll be the Bobcats against the Bucks. That one starting at 7 o'clock Eastern. And that'll be our report. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you next time.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
No good on that last second attempt there. The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Spurs out in front, up 9. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Thanks, Kevin. Coach Popovich, a strong first half for you. Was the up-tempo pace part of the game plan?
Well, we've upped the pace. That's what we need to do because we're not as good a defensive team as we used to be, so something's got to give somewhere.
Pop, thanks for the time, guys.
Thank you, Doris. And we'll be right back after halftime for the start of quarter number 3. Rosen. And so we wrap up the first half. It's the Raptors. They're up by 9. And now we'll send it down to Doris Burke, who's standing by courtside.
Hey, Kevin. Well, Coach Casey, obviously it's early in the season, but how would you say this team is shaping up in terms of its chemistry and personnel-wise?
I love our guys. We have a great group of young men that are competing hard, and it feels good because I know our guys are totally engaged and focused and giving us what they have.
Coach, thank you so much. Over to you guys.
Thanks, Doris. And we'll be back shortly following halftime to get the third quarter started.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Ernie Johnson here alongside Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. We'll be taking a look back at the first half of basketball. The first quarter for the Raptors was fairly even. At the end of the period, they held a 2-point lead. They showed their superiority in the second quarter and got well out in front, taking a 9-point lead into the locker room at the half. And let's get your thoughts, big fella, on the Raptors.
Well, they've been playing with some toughness, and it's led to a nice lead for them, not just on the scoreboard, but in the rebounding numbers. And now they need to stay mean, Ernie. You cannot lose that edge in the second half.
And Kenny, let's get your thoughts on the Wizards.
Well, the bench was really outscored, and that hurt them. They didn't get any extra spark that sometimes can energize an offense. Instead, the starters had to carry their load, and that's a big reason why they fell behind. The bench almost has to score something in the second half for this team to win.
And now, folks, it's just about time for the third quarter to begin. We will see you after the final buzzer.
From three-point range. And we're through the first half of basketball here, and what's been a good one. Warriors lead by 5. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Alongside Steve Kerr and Coach, what is the offensive approach going to be in the second half?
Well, we just have to do what we do, move the ball and wear them down with our ball movement, our cutting, and our spacing, and set better screens, all the usual stuff.
Yeah, it always seems to work out for you in the long run. Thanks, Steve. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks for the great interview, David. And we'll be back for the third quarter of basketball following halftime.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And we're halfway through this one. The new NBA season getting underway. I'm Ernie Johnson. Got Kenny the Jet Smith. Got Shaquille O'Neal. Always great to be around you knuckleheads.
Thank you, brother.
Klay Thompson brought his A game early tonight. He had 9 points and 2 rebounds. Taking a look at the Warriors, Kenny, what'd you think?
Well, so far, they've taken care of their business here at home. It's something you might expect, but it's not a given. We'll see if they can keep that up in the second half.
Shaq, what'd you think about Minnesota?
Well, I thought the one bright spot was the effort on the glass. Several times when momentum was sliding, getting a timely rebound really lifted them. The strong work on the glass is key because that's how you string together a series of big stops.
And time now to send you back down to the floor with Kevin Harlan. We will see you after the game.
And the first half comes to a close. We've got a close game going on here. Grizzlies lead by 5. And join us right back here after the break for the start of the second half.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And welcome to halftime. Hey, what a fantastic time of the year. NBA season getting underway. Hey,
I'm excited. I am really excited. I am really, really excited, Ernie.
For the Grizzlies, the first quarter was pretty even. They were unable to ever build a big lead in the first period, with 3 points being their largest cushion. Well, for the Grizzlies, Kenny, what'd you think about the Grizzlies?
I was super impressed with their shot selection. I think that was part of the strategy coming in. They wanted to be patient with the basketball, move it around, and get high percentage looks. Obviously, that's going to be big.
Shaq, how'd you think the Rockets were playing?
Scoring in the paint, that's an area where they can improve. With the defense sagging in, they settle for a lot of jump shots in the first half. Coming out of the break, I think it'll be better running off pick and rolls, hitting cutters, moving toward the hoop, that old Boston Celtics-style basketball.
So that'll do it for now as we send you courtside with Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K crew for the start of the second half.